My name's David Grant, and I'm directing Unified the musical, Guy Barriscale's intriguing exploration of the history of both the Courtaulds and the UNIFI factory. I'm based down in Queens and Belfast, but this is the third big project I've actually done here at Grianán for the Earagail Festival, so it's lovely to be back. But I have to say, this is the one that probably has the closest connection with the living experience of Letterkenny. Way back when we did something about the Flight of the Earls, but I think there aren't too many people around now who remember that. Whereas there seems to be everybody you stop in the street has either worked at UNIFI. I know people who've worked at UNIFI. And I think what Guy's been very keen to do is to reflect the lived history of the factory. You know, it's not an issue play. It's not about globalization and the abandonment of Letterkenny for Vietnam, though obviously that partly comes into the story. But the thing was, when he spoke to people, most people had very positive memories of the factory. So there's lots of fun, there's lots of things that anybody who's worked anywhere will recognise. Factions between different parts of the plant. There's a great football match where Plant 1 plays Plant 2. You know, trying to put a football match on stage is always a challenge. So that's been fun. And the music, the nice thing about the music is that because the history of the place spans the 70s, 80s, 90s, right through to the 2000s, it gives you endless scope. Finn Robinson has written some really catchy tunes, but the styles vary depending on what part of the story we're in. So it's really been great fun to do because you're playing with all of those different musical genres. No, I think as director that would be a bit invidious, though I have to say we have Christian Carbon up from Donegal town playing both bosses, the very plummy English boss, Mr. Courtaulds as we're calling him, though obviously that was just the name of the firm, and Mr. Yank, which kind of creates a generic kind of American character. But the contrast between the two is quite extreme, so whereas you have that sort of slightly pucker kind of upper class English public school boy kind of voice for Mr. Courtaulds, then we go into this kind of American drawl for the Americans. So there's a transformation scene which the audience can look forward to. Well, I think it's always exciting to root a piece of theatre in a local community. Television, film can tell stories that appeal across cultures, across languages, across countries. But there's something about live theatre which can communicate directly with the immediate experience of people in a particular community, in this case Letterkenny. So I think those of the audience who know the UNIFI story will recognise a lot in it. But I think, coming to it as an outsider, I'm confident that people who know nothing about UNIFI at all will enjoy it. Because it's about the life of a town, it's about the relationships that exist within that town. There's a little love story that weaves its way through it. But also those very recognisable clashes between the bosses and the workers and, the sort of unions. And then there seems to have been a very active sports and social kind of dimension. The firm, both Courtaulds and UNIFI, seem to take that sense of supporting the community of their workers very seriously, so there's everything associated with that as well.